Hey, Breonna. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we're here with No Lazy Bones magazine. So we're a media content creating company. We're trying to get more of the businesses out here in Jacksonville, and we're here with you. Yeah. Apparently, you own 2 businesses. Mm-hmm. It's Effortless Creates and Effortless Cosmetics. Yeah. So me knowing you a little bit personally, but I really know your story. Yeah. Can you give us a little bit breakdown of how you got started within your businesses, or like what's the story behind it? You know what I'm saying? Like, give us a little bit of breakdown.
So I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised. Mm-hmm. I've always been very creative. Okay. So as a kid, I was kind of like into a lot of like art, really multifaceted, but not really anything in particular. So branching over into, school, you kind of learning throughout high school that you need a career needs to be forced on you. You need to figure out if you want to be a doctor, a lawyer. So I went down that avenue first. Mm-hmm. And then I slowly started to see things come out of me that were really creative, like drawing, painting, singing, dancing, stuff like that. And it allowed me to change my whole career path. I dropped out of school. I was going to school for like sports medicine, and my parents they hated it. They was like, "Oh, you want to be a doctor, a lawyer?" I dropped out of school to become a makeup artist first. Yeah. So I did the whole 9-to-5 thing, and then my business on the side. Mm-hmm. I started to get more and more passionate about it over time. Yeah. And then I just went for it. A leap of faith. I don't like people to tell me like no, or I can't do something like myself.
Go get her.
Even if you did experience something, I'll take your feedback, but I'm gonna try it for myself to see like what works for me. Because what works for me, that might be for me, but it may not have worked out for you. So
I got you.
So I dropped out of school, went full-time entrepreneur, started as a makeup artist, doing freelance. My friends, family, back then makeup wasn't really as popular. It was about 13 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really as popular as it is now. I think the community or society really like pushed entrepreneurship more like these times, really after COVID. Mm-hmm. So I like to consider myself like an OG in the game.
I got you.
And I want to spread that now. Yeah. Now that I have like been equipped over the years, I do want to spread that knowledge and help like young girls, kind of avoid the whole school route. If you don't want to go that route, if you feel like you're creative and you discovered it while you're young, do that. And then, if you want to do something later, do something later, but invest in yourself.
So you mentioned that, you're from Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. So while all this was going on, were you in Jacksonville the whole time, or were you like kind of out of town? Or give us a little bit breakdown of like a little bit more details on how did that happen? Yeah. So after high school, did you immediately jump into college, or how did that work? Were you in Jacksonville the whole time, or did you go around and kind of try to find your crowd, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like how did you like kind of fell in love with what you do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I was in Jacksonville until I was about 18 or 19. I decided to go to school. I was going to school originally here in Jacksonville first. And then I realized it was still kind of distracting for me, like family, friends. And I just wanted to take that leap of faith. So I went to school in Orlando. I was pursuing school down there, Valencia College, UCF. And then again, practicing on my friends and doing stuff on the side. And I was in school doing makeup, and I worked a 9-to-5. And so I was like kind of missing like opportunities. Yeah. So, obviously you gotta take care of yourself. Nobody's doing things for you. I didn't have $1 million family to like pay for my schooling or pay for my apartment and stuff. So I was working. And then I felt like the opportunities were being missed in the areas that I wanted the most. So if I'm at work or I'm at school and an opportunity presented itself for me to do makeup somewhere on set, I couldn't do it, or I had to call out or things like that. So it just motivated me. I was like, I can't do this. I want to take a leap of faith for myself, and I jumped out there. And then I just quit. Dropped out of school. And then I have friends around me. I started to attract people who were like me. Yeah. Other creatives. Yes. So I had a friend that was a photographer. I had a friend that was interested in cutting hair, like barber. just like creatives, entrepreneurs. We all decided, we got together and we decided we were going to move to Atlanta. Somebody brainstormed the idea and was like, we should go to Atlanta because that's where a lot of Black businesses are thriving.
Definitely.
They're not really pushing the military or, you know, school down your throat there. They're more accepting to Black creatives. And I was down. I had already done it for myself moving to Orlando.
Yeah.
And I believed that I could do it again. And now I have people around me who are like-minded. And it wasn't as fearful. So I took a leap of faith with those girls, and then we moved to Atlanta. So with my Atlanta adventure, I kind of had to get grounded there. It's like new city. Orlando from Jacksonville is only 2 hours, so it's a bit different when you're like, you know, 5-6 hours away. So I had to get my feet wet, stand on my own in Atlanta, and then I ended up doing my thing in Atlanta. Then I moved to Virginia, did a little something in Virginia. Miami.
Been everywhere. You've been everywhere.
I've been quite a few places.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So with these business ventures, when you're traveling and stuff like that, this is more on your makeup side. What about your, you know, you're a florist. You're a florist business. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Can you give us a little more details about that? How did that started? Did you do this all at the same time, or like, how did that go?
So
because balancing two businesses at the same time is very hard. You know what I'm saying? I understand.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Go ahead.
I think the balance kind of taught me a lot when I was doing school, doing makeup. So I was kind of juggling it kind of a little bit then. I just kind of switched gears and kind of tried to implement the same formula, but doing it in my business, my own business. If I could do it for somebody else's business, I could do it for mine. So that's where the mentality comes from. So pretty much no sleep, you know, barely eating sometimes. I don't have kids. So I think that has a lot to do with like how hard I go. I got a little more room to do a lot for myself in that case. But it kind of came about in the same way, just naturally being creative and knowing how to do things, or just copying things. Like I would do flowers and like arrangements for friends and family, because I couldn't afford to go spend $200-$300 on, you know, some arrangements for my mom and stuff like that. I couldn't afford that.
It cost that much?
It costs.
Wow.
Now being in the field, knowing it's the same, like vendors, you have to find vendors or warehouses that can supply things, and it costs. Like this today, the society, like everything is inflated. Like there's the prices for flowers. You would think that a rose would cost you like, you know, a couple cents. It's not a couple cents. Like it could cost me up to $100 just to get a box of roses for me to purchase them. So if I have to, if I'm vending them at that price, like what would be my profit? You know what I mean?
Definitely your profit margin.
So exactly. So I just started there. It's actually started on the Mother's Day. I did an arrangement for my mom. I saw something online, and I felt that it was something I want. It would feel better if I did it versus buying it, because I'm like, my blood, sweat, and tears is in this arrangement, Mom.
Comes from the heart,
And that's exactly what happened. She saw it, and she was like, "You didn't have to go out and buy all this stuff." And I was like, I didn't order this. I made this. Yeah. And she was blown away. So that the way that I felt in the moment of gifting her that, and then also when I posted it online, I started getting a flood of, you know, messages saying like, "Oh, you should have made one for my mom." Like, "Oh, you're making these now." And the mindset that I have now, originally it was like, I don't want to take off of somebody else's plate. There's florists out here. There's people who were born and all they did was flowers. That's all they love. And I felt bad because I'm like, well, I wasn't born into flowers. I didn't like flowers, you know, and I don't want to take from people who are, you know, eating in that field or industry. But there's enough money for everybody out here. I don't have a crab mentality where I'm just, you know, don't want to help other people. I knew that eventually I would take this, grow it, and then pass it on. And that's where it all started. I was like, I think this year will be the second year, or 2025 is my second year in the business as a florist, and multiple streams of income. That's the mindset.
It's also beautiful, the fact that it started with your mom, and also it's kind of like the motivation comes from your family, so it's from the heart and it touches your heart, so it makes you a lot more driven and stuff like that. Speaking of that, so what are your future goals as far as like short-term goals, long-term goals in both of your businesses?
Okay, so I went to school to get my license. That kind of backs up me as a makeup artist to be able to maneuver around and
Can you specify on the license? Like,
license?
let the people know. Let the people know. Let the people know. There you go.
A licensed esthetician is basically a doctor of the skin. So it allows me to be able to assess like your skin type, if you have acne issues or aging issues, just anything that have to do with the skin, the pores, the hairs, not just with the face, but all over. So I wanted to have this under my belt because obviously I'm dealing with chemicals, ingredients. I'm dealing with different skin types, complexions, colors. I didn't realize how important that was in the industry as a makeup artist. And there was an opportunity that I missed. Someone in Atlanta, I was working, she complimented my makeup and she asked me, was I available to work on set with her? And I was like, yeah, I'm available. And she was like, okay, you have your license, right? And I'm like, you don't have to have a license to be a makeup artist. She's like, no, but to work on set, you have to have a license, like an esthetician's license. Obviously, big brands, bigger places, they want to cover themselves for liability purposes. And that put a stun in me. I was like, dang. But I didn't want to miss any more opportunities like that. I'm like, if it's on the table, I'm getting it. So I went to school, got my license, and now I learned so much more. I took more from the courses than I originally went in thinking. So I'm just applying that kind of in all areas in the beauty industry, just teaching other artists, helping myself, helping my friends and family. So in that spectrum. What was your last question again?
So my other question was like your short-term goals and long-term goals when it comes to both of your businesses. So you specify stuff about your makeup, being a makeup artist and like like that kind of business. What about your floral? Business? Well, short-term, long-term, yes.
So short-term goals as a florist, I do want to do more community things here. So I want to get involved in the city and just introduce myself a little bit more on that end. Everybody knows me as a makeup artist, and that's fine. But I just want them to know that I do offer other services. I'm in the beauty industry, so it allows me to connect with a lot of women. I'm also friends with a lot of males, and I am able to service them in that way through flowers. Which eventually makes me known in other spaces and places. Like, I'm in everybody's pockets. I want to be in the kids' pockets too. So that's the goal, short-term goal, community-wise. Long-term goal, I do want a floral shop. My vision for the floral shop, honestly, would be to pass it to my mom. She's also a creative. She does things. She is into flowers, but she wants to freestyle like her own thing. So I do believe that everybody has a lane, and if that's her lane, I can open up her shop and she can do like whatever she wants to do in there. But I do think that people deserve to see like her work and what she's capable of too. So that's my long-term goal. Long-term, short-term. Makeup in short-term. I think I'm executing my short-term goals now. Getting like networking, doing things like this, just giving more exposure to myself. That's really my main goal. Short-term wise, but long-term I want to get more into teaching. Like I mentioned earlier, just passing more down to the younger people. I'm getting, getting a little old. Get a little old, so I want to pass the torch. So
like a makeup school or like kind of like a makeup, like, hey, I'm gonna hold up a class. Y'all sign up. I like that.
13 years in the game, I got something to teach. So I'm ready to pass it down. Nobody's
13 years?
13
years. But you seem so young though. You seem so young.
I'm still youthful.
But you wouldn't know like, hey, I've been in that industry for 13 years. I would not, you know what I'm saying? Like I look at you like, think she's 25, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you. Thank you. I prayed at that stage.
Another thing that I've heard like that you mentioned was your mom being also a creative. Was she like a main factor when it comes to you like taking you in, like, okay, my mom's a creative, so she knows what I'm going through. She knows like kind of like that scratch I'm trying to itch when it comes to like not just, you know, expressing yourself, but also like fulfilling that, like, you know, like that kind of that hole in your life, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm pretty sure like school wasn't dead. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't fulfilling you. You know what I'm saying? We live a life where, okay, we understand we need to work a main job. You know what I'm saying? However, there's that hole. There's that need. Is that, you know? Can you give us more of an emphasis towards that, or?
It was a little lonely. I'm not gonna lie, and it gets lonely even now. I'm not saying that my mom is not there for me. Yeah. I'm doing something that nobody in my family has done. Yeah. So some things are misunderstood. The things that we're putting in, somebody may view it as you're not doing enough, or it's compared to what's been doing on the 9-to-5 end. Yeah. And if you don't know something, sometimes you reject it, right? Yeah. So that's been the course of my experience with everyone, not just singling out one individual, but I kind of had to stay strong mentally through this entire journey for years. Having support coming in different ways. My mom, she goes hard on social media for me. Sometimes I get on Facebook and I see all kinds of tags from months and months ago, or people messaging me all the time. She's really good with word of mouth. She's, you know, traditional. She believes in getting out there in the streets and telling somebody about her daughter. Hey, my daughter do this, my daughter do that. And that's her way of supporting me. So I embrace the way that she knows.
Sounds like she's very proud of you.
She's very proud. Yeah. She's very proud.
Yeah. Yeah. That is something. That is beautiful. Like, you know what I'm saying? Having the feedback from your family and the, like, just knowing, hey, she has my back. You know what I'm saying? So that's very beautiful. And it's very different because, you know, me personally, I work in a corporate world. You know, like I'm in a different world. Like, you know, like I'm just a normal worker, but I enjoy my job. So, but I understand, like, doesn't always scratch that itch. That's why I'm starting to do this and stuff like that. So.
Well, on that end of things, all of my 9-to-5s that I did work were corporate jobs. Yeah. And I actually am appreciative of those corporate jobs because I knew that I didn't want to work there for the rest of my life. But instead of slacking off in those jobs, I tried to take whatever information that I could so I can put it into my business. And I think that people don't have that mentality when they're working their businesses. Even a job like McDonald's. McDonald's is a thriving billion-dollar company. Definitely. So when people are looking at that one location and saying, like, I'm not coming to work on time, I don't care about this food, I don't care about that, they're not looking at the bigger picture. They got that location and millions of other locations. Yeah. So you being a part of that is that you're a number. So I kind of looked at things like I have to take every opportunity and consume whatever I can so I can be the best in my business. So when it came to being in a 9-to-5, I was on time, top tier, promoted fast. Like I was like at the top of different stores at a very, very young age, 23, running the store, making schedules. Like I took a lot from those, but it always came from me wanting to put it back into myself. So I think that's very important. And so
you were working a 9-to-5 to kind of like fuel your passion, fuel your what you really wanted to do in life, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. We got to get the money somehow, like, you know what I'm saying. So with that, do you have any advice when it comes to somebody that's working a 9-to-5 right now, but they have this idea that they want to start, or any future entrepreneurs out there? Any advice? Have you gone through any business struggles? If you want to tell a story about that, share that kind of experience, but just overall advice of any motivational kind of speech that you want to give to them.
Yeah, I have so many like stories that just shifted through my brain. I definitely would encourage you, if you have an idea, because an idea can be your billion-dollar business, even for yourself. Like that could be your billion-dollar business. I don't know what you're passionate about. Do you have something you're passionate about?
This is it, actually. Like just talking to people, getting to know their stories. I feel like everybody has a story to tell, and I feel like I'm in that space where like let's let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I want to know what are you going through and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm doing this from the heart. I'm not doing this as a, you know what I'm saying? Because I work a corporate job. I work in finance industry.
Okay.
I deal with specifically with stocks and like that. It's pretty boring.
Do you deal with people directly?
I do.
Okay.
And getting to know them, because like, you know, there's office politics, right?
Okay.
So I try to stay away from that, but I do want to kind of feel people out, and you'll also want to kind of feel people out where who I could trust, versus who's out here really not looking for my best interests. So like, you know, I came in a situation where, you know, I was in another team, and then I was the lead. I was basically managing the team, going through the projects, giving advice to people, like kind of like mentoring them, like, you know, telling them, hey, like, listen, you can't be doing this. We gotta.
Because that's your passion, right? You find yourself kind of maneuvering in your job, but doing what you know to do best, like in your heart, right? Like it kind of like navigates towards what you really want to do. In a way, yes. In a way, yes. But like being in that kind of environment, you always want to look out for your best interests. Yeah. But you also want to do it as a genuine person. Yeah. I'm not a snake. I'm not gonna take people's jobs. I'm not gonna get people fired. Yeah. I'm just there for a certain amount of time. And once I've learned the function and I master it, I'm gonna get bored. I'm gonna move on. Yeah. I don't want to be a manager. That's not my thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a background guy. I'm more into like the tech kind of thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I make macros. Yeah. Not like really make them, but like, you know, like I develop where like to find a resolution and stuff like that. Like more into reconciliations and stuff like that. Like finding what's wrong with the numbers and like trying to figure out like, you know, like big spreadsheets and stuff like that. Like I said, it's like, it's kind of a boring. That's not really, that's not like, if you think about me, like, yeah, I love math and I love like problem solving and stuff like that. But I also like talking to people and stuff like that. So this is it. And I asked because it goes back to what I said originally. Anything that you do, try to find something that you can take from it so you can implement it in yourself. Yeah. So while you're on this job, how can you be applying this knowledge at your job and redirect it back to your business or that idea that you had? Yeah. So that's kind of like the number one thing that I would push for people who do work 9 to 5 and they have ideas and they have things that they want to do outside of that. Yeah. Don't let it completely consume you, because the 9 to 5 is going to be there
no matter what.
Whether you croak over and die, whether you're sick, but just take from it. Don't take it for granted, because every job is an opportunity for you to kind of grow yourself. Yeah. So that's like my main advice. That's my main advice.
I was with my mentor yesterday. He's kind of like teaching me like more on stocks and stuff like that, because I'm gonna take the leap of faith, like what you said, and real deal go out there and like, you know, I'm doing this for other people. Yeah. Let me make my own money. Yeah. And he does that. So that's I've been talking to him and stuff like that, and I talked to his wife, and his wife told me, he was like, don't be scared of losing money. As long as you got good health, you would always make it. So take care of yourself. That's take real. Care of yourself. Yeah. Forget about that job. Yeah. Take time for yourself. Take care of yourself mentally. Take care of yourself physically. Yeah. And then, you know what I'm saying? Have faith. 100%. Have faith. 100%. It's gonna all work out. Everything comes in perfect time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've definitely been a believer on that. I've just gotten back with, you know, my old boys from back when I was in college. That's why I started doing this. I'm like, I told them I'm gonna be with y'all heavy for real. Like I'm gonna be with y'all like, hey, I don't, you know, I'm not playing no more. I'm really passionate about this. Yeah. This is what I do. Whenever I have ideas, I'll be texting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can vouch for me. And like, I'll be texting them. Like, I just got to put it down. Like, hey, I don't always, like, it always makes sense, but I always have this vision. You know what I'm saying? It's like, is that something that you kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
And what you're doing right now is exactly, like, that's the entrepreneur spirit. Yeah. Don't let it die, you know? Like, don't get lost in the job. Don't get lost doing the things for other people. Like you mentioned,
Yeah.
if you're capable of doing all of it, like you're smart. I can tell you're intelligent. Working in numbers, you gotta be smart. So if you're able to do that for somebody else and make them billions, and you just getting a portion, like imagine what you could do for yourself.
Piece.
You know,
a teeny tiny piece.
Of
I wish I owned some of those stocks that I paid dividends on. Like,
you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And you can, you know, but educating yourself.
Definitely.
And not limiting yourself either, and having a good support system. Have your friends, you rock out with your friends, your peers. Because I got my people now, you know, it feels, at times your journey is your journey. It may feel lonely, but
definitely building that community.
If you have that community, you build it, rock out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay.
Nice to
I
meet you,
appreciate
Breonna. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much.
It's a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to
y'all.
No Bones Magazine.
Yeah.
Non-Disclosure.
Yeah.
Nick made it.
Yeah.
They're taking over Jacksonville. That is the best media group out right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No lazy bones.
No lazy bones magazine.